Well, good morning, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. Yes, it is John C. Morley here. I am your host, and not only a host, but I'm also a podcast coach. Welcome once again. I know it's bright and early, but we've been starting these shows earlier, and we're getting even more turnout than we expected. So, welcome everyone, and thank you to my 175,000 people that follow the show Inspirations for Your Life. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. If you have not headed over to the kitchen to get yourself something cold, something warm, or something yummy, something healthy, something sweet, something tart, or not, doesn't really matter. I really do appreciate that. So please go ahead and definitely check that out. All right. So our granular topic for today is one that should not be remiss, but one that a lot of people do miss. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called, are you ready for it? All right. Growth requires effort. We're on series 4, show 13, episode 4. Wow. Where did we go? Can you believe that we are almost through the quarter of our 4th year? We've been on the air over 3 years. This is really impressive. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm a serial entrepreneur, a podcast coach, and host. And this show is your ultimate guide to unlocking workplace motivation and elevating your leadership game. Whether you're a business owner, a leader, or someone just looking to grow personally or professionally, this is the spot that you want to be for all the ins and outs. All right. So I will equip you with tools to push through those challenges and maximize your potential. Success doesn't come, ladies and gentlemen, easy. It requires effort, resilience, and the right mindset. Today, I'm going to dive into 7 key principles that will help you break barriers, stay motivated, and surround yourself with the right people for lasting success. So let's get started. Everybody ready? Make sure you have your belts on. So, number 1 is effort. Effort is the price of progress. Nothing great comes without effort. Success isn't handed to anyone, it's earned through hard work, dedication, and, of course, persistence. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, you're launching a business, or working toward a personal goal, the effort you put in determines the results you get. It's easy to dream, but execution is where the magic happens. Effort transforms potential into reality. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to invest time, energy, and patience into the process. No shortcuts, just consistent actions. That is number 1, but that is not the whole be all end all, everyone. Okay. So the next one I want to share with you, which is a really, really important one, and that is challenges are opportunities in disguise. I know a lot of people like, oh my gosh, this happened in my family, this happened at work, this happened at the office, this happened in school. And they're like, oh, woe was me, woe was me, woe was me, right? So I think it's important to understand that again, effort is the price of progress. Number 1. Number 2 is challenges are opportunities in disguise. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Instead of fearing obstacles, embrace them as learning experiences. When things don't go as planned, take a step back, reassess, and adapt some of the world's greatest success stories. We're born from adversity, okay? Struggles build character, resilience, and problem solving skills. If you can shift your mindset to see challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you'll unlock new levels of success. The key, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, the key is to stay focused, push through discomfort, and keep moving forward every single day. Number 3, consistency. It beats motivation. Motivation is great, but it's fleeting because some days you can want to do something and some days not. So your consistency is what's going to keep you in check. Some days you'll feel inspired, other days you won't. What separates successful people from the rest is consistency. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Maybe you're doing workouts like lifting, or you're doing planks like I do, or you're doing 100 squats every 2 days like I do. So maybe sometimes I don't want to do them, but I have to remember it's the consistency that gets the results. Okay. And that's important. So it's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. So small repeat actions over time create massive results, whether it's working out, building a business, or mastering a skill. Your daily habits define your future. Don't rely on motivation alone. I'm not saying it's bad. Build systems and routines that keep you disciplined in check, even when the excitement sometimes fades, like it's a fad or something like that. I think that's important to understand. Number 4, guys. Number 4, failure is a stepping stone. It is not a stumbling block. Failure is a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the journey. Every setback teaches you something valuable. The most successful people in the world have failed multiple times, but they never let it stop them. Instead of seeing failure as an end, see it as a necessary step towards success. Learn from your mistakes, make adjustments, and try again. The only true failure is giving up. Remember, growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone and keep going despite setbacks. I want to talk about one that's really important. How many times did it take, what was it, Thomas Edison to invent the light bulbs? Anybody know? It didn't take him one time. Okay. He actually failed, according to his records. It was like 2,774 times. So after failing over 2,000 attempts, he still did not give up. He saw that as, let's say, a motivation to push him forward. All right. So that is very, very important. The only true failure, as I said, is giving up. And remember, growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone and keep going despite setbacks. So you have to practice getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. That is really important. Mindset shapes our effort. Your thoughts dictate your actions every day. If you believe you can succeed, you will. Henry Ford said it. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you will. You'll take the necessary steps to make it happen. On the other hand, a negative mindset can hold you back from reaching your full potential. Cultivating a growth mindset means embracing challenges, seeing efforts as a primary path to mastery, and believing in continuous improvement. Your success starts in your mind. The way you think about your abilities, your goals, and your setbacks will determine, ladies and gentlemen, your results. And you can choose to think big, stay positive, and of course, take action. Number 6, no shortcuts exist to mastery. Mastery takes time and relentless practice. Whether you're learning a new skill, building a career, or developing a leadership set of abilities, there's no easy path to greatness. Overnight success is a myth. True experts put in thousands of hours refining their craft. If you want to be the best, be prepared to put in the work. Stay patient, keep learning, and commit to the process. The effort you put in today will compound over time, leading to long-term success. Now, what I often tell people, and this is really important, is that it's the continuous sets of actions that you take that will bring about your success. I know, obviously, I'm tired. I've done this for so long. I get that you're tired. Believe me. So is a million other people, but they haven't given up and they're being successful. The other thing that's important is doing it now, understanding the importance of taking that, even if it's a small step, you take that small step very consistently every single day. And it's better than taking huge steps and then just taking them once in a while. Number 7, surround yourself with growth-minded people. This is a little bit of a conundrum for some people. Like, well, how do I do that? I don't even know how to do that. Well, you got to get in front of people that believe in who you are, that believe in your mission, that believe in all the things you do. The people around you will influence your mindset, motivation, and your success. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, or complacency, it's hard to grow. Let's face it. Find people who challenge you, who inspire you, and support your journey. A strong network of growth-minded individuals can push you to achieve more than you ever thought possible. Seek mentors, join mastermind groups, and engage with communities that encourage learning and progress. Your environment plays a huge role in shaping your future. Choose wisely, connect, with yourself, and realize that these tips are the key to life. All right. I think when we think about all this stuff, there's a lot, to digest, and I realize that. I know that, maybe some of you have said to me, John, I don't get all this, and so just let's say a summary of each point is important here. I think if we understand that it's our mindset, it's our way of life that's pushing us somewhere, right? As I said, success doesn't come without effort, right? Challenges or opportunities in disguise. Go remove that mask. Remove those clothes that are proverbial, that are blocking you. Remove that attitude. Remove that ego. I always tell people, you've got to leave your egos at the door. I say that in a jokingly way, but I mean that seriously. Like, I'm not here to deal with egos. Okay, you want to be here because you want to be here, not because I, am expecting you to be here. Okay, it's up to you to show up. Consistency beats motivation. I know that's going to sound really challenging, but it's the truth. If you're motivated and then suddenly you get demotivated because, oh, you know what, I'm tired, I don't want to get up this morning, or you know what, the weather's not good, or I want to go to my friend's house, or I don't know, it's just not that kind of a day. Your mindset shapes your efforts. Your mindset shapes your efforts. And so that's key. No shortcuts to mastery exist. They don't. They do not exist. Mastery takes time. Okay. I want to share a personal story about each of these, um, so that you understand more of what this is about. Because I know I'm talking about something that can be like way out there. It's something that maybe doesn't make all the connections that you expect. When I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I had big ideas, but quickly realized the success wasn't about just having a vision. It was about relentless effort. I remember working late nights, sacrificing weekends, and constantly refining my approach. One particular project required me to learn an entirely new skill set. And while it was frustrating at times, the effort paid off when the business grew. Because of it, that experience taught me that putting in the work, even when it's difficult, is what ultimately leads to results. And I still do that today. If there's something new, if there's a new challenge, if there's something I have to learn, I will do that because I know the dividends of that will pay off. Challenges are opportunities in disguise, right? So, what did I learn from that? Well, years ago, I faced a major setback when a business deal fell through at the last minute. I was working with this large hotel chain. And although we had some business with them, they had promised us this next round. However, they weren't, let's say, ready. They were actually financially strained. And now we're questioning the next steps that we're taking, and so were they. Instead of dwelling on that loss, I used it as a motivation pivot to say, what can I do? So I took a step back. I analyzed what went wrong and used the knowledge to refine my approach. The setback forced me to explore new opportunities, which ultimately led to an even bigger, better business venture. Looking back, I see that challenge as a turning point that pushed me toward greater success. Unfortunately, what happened with that company is because they didn't take the bull by the horns, they went out of business. Consistency beats motivation. I once set a goal to release a new podcast episode every week, no matter what. At first, I was fueled by excitement, but as time went on, motivation naturally dipped. There were days when I didn't feel like recording, especially when unexpected responsibilities piled up. Now, this was with Jay Moore Tech Talk Show. Later on, I decided to launch a second podcast, which you're listening to now, Inspirations for Your Life. That show started out weekly. Then I said, I got to go daily. I've got to give people a dose of inspiration every day because people need to be motivated every single day of their life. However, I stayed commitment to the schedule, even my second schedule. Over time, this consistency built momentum, grew my audience. My tech show has now over 15,000 people. My motivational show has over 100, so I have 75,000 people. And I established credibility, and I have guests and authors and celebrities reaching out to me. And I now have a 6-month waiting period to get on the Inspirations for Your Life show. Had I relied solely on motivation, I would have missed the boat. And I never would have been able to close in and make this show as big as it is. Do you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but Inspirations for Your Life, which again is the show that you are listening to or watching right now, it's been around for a while. Actually, over 3 years. We're in our 4th year and 25th day. Inspirations for Your Life now has over 1,296 episodes, not including today, which will make this show 1,297 episodes. If I do say so myself, guys, that is a pretty big accomplishment. And I think sometimes, when we hear these things, uh, it kind of confuses people, right? It confuses us to understand, like, what is it we need to do? And so I want to let you know that it's important. And so when you stick to something that resonates with you, it will grow. So, my point about number four, I think you're going to really enjoy. This is about failure as a stepping stone. It's not a stumbling block. So I'll never forget the time I launched a product that completely flopped. I invested time, energy, and money into it only to see it fail in the marketplace. Now, the reason it failed wasn't because of my research. It was because I didn't do the appropriate thing. I wasn't even out of college yet, and I had come up with a really cool alarm system that was wireless. Unfortunately, I thought I had done everything I was supposed to do, but the one thing I didn't do was protect the intellectual right and make sure no big box store actually was going to come out with this product and try to market it. And guess what they did? They did. And that was a sad day. But I learned that I don't do anything without putting in the legal work that's necessary. As I said, it was disheartening, but instead of quitting, I analyzed what went wrong. I gathered feedback, reworked the product, and I relaunched something even better with a much more solid strategy and one that I didn't even share. So, sometimes we want to tell our friends things, right, in circles because we're proud. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell people what you're working on. You can say, hey, I'm working on a new program, a new software, a new piece of hardware. That's it. Don't tell them what it's for. Don't tell them how it's going to help somebody. Just keep your mouth shut, because then you don't have to risk saying something that you shouldn't have said. And then somebody who you think is your friend actually capitalizes on that and kind of squashes you. So again, the second attempt turned into success. The failure wasn't the end. It was a stepping stone that taught me invaluable lessons about testing, adapting, and of course, legitimate improving. So mindset shapes the effort, as I said. Early in my career, I struggled with self-doubt, especially when I saw others achieving success faster than I was. I realized my negative mindset was holding me back more than anything external. I started reframing challenges as opportunities to grow, and instead of focusing on what I lacked, I focused on what I could learn. The shift in the mindset changed everything. I became more proactive, took more risks, and started seeing real progress. The way you think about success directly impacts your ability to achieve it. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss. They don't understand that you don't just show up. Yes, showing up is important, but it's not the be all end all. No shortcuts to mastery, that's for certain. When I wanted to improve my public speaking skills, and I was already quite good, I thought I could just watch a few videos and gain some tips. I quickly realized that it's not by watching and consuming information. It requires practice, feedback, and repetition. So my point was that I was great at being a short-term speaker, but I didn't have the experience for doing like a long keynote, which would be like 60 minutes, 90 minutes. I quickly learned what I needed to do to keep my audience engaged. I committed to speaking at every opportunity I could, whether it was a small networking event or a large conference. Over time, the practice paid off and became something that developed me into a very confident speaker today. Mastery isn't about finding a shortcut, folks. It's about committing to continuous improvement. If your friend says it's about doing this or just doing that or downloading this one book, I hate to burst your bubble, but that's not going to do it for anybody. All right. Just not going to do it for anybody. Number seven, with my personal story, surround yourself with growth minded people. I once found myself stuck in a rut, surrounded by people who were comfortable staying in their comfort zones. I wasn't growing because my environment didn't challenge me. That changed when I joined a mastermind group of ambitious entrepreneurs who pushed me to think bigger. It also changed even more now that I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I even expanded my world, my whole ecosphere when I went back to college. I started learning and interacting with people and being open to things that I didn't even know I could be open to because the opportunities were never presenting themselves. The people you surround yourself will truly shape your growth, and um, by this you'll be choosing the right cycle. You can make all the difference in the world. Now, I know you're probably saying to me, hey, John, that's great for you. You're an expert. Well, I wasn't an expert when I started. And if you want to start, you can start somewhere. The whole point is whether, you start, at the bottom right away or you start somewhere else. I think it's important to understand what this means. And by knowing what this means, you have to realize just one thing. And that is that your thought can take things to an entirely different level. So just your thought, but is thought enough to create a reality, a new reality? Of course not, guys. It's not enough. So how can we connect, each of these points, to our lives with some, great examples? So I was thinking about that. The best thing I can tell you is effort. When you think about effort is the price of progress, think about an athlete training for a marathon. They don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to run 26.2 miles effortlessly. It takes months of discipline, proper nutrition, overcoming mental and physical exhaustion. Same applies to life and business. If you want to build a career, grow a business, master a new skill, even go back to college, that whole thought doesn't just cause the action to happen right away. I had been milling the concept of going back to college, but something in the world of AI and large language models and me playing around with them and doing stuff engaged my curiosity to say, hey, you know what? I want to learn more. Not because I have to, because I want to. Whether it's staying late at the office or finishing a project or consistently working out to improve fitness, effort is the foundation of progress. Or in my case, getting up early in the morning to make sure my agendas are ready, or staying up a little later to make sure this agenda was ready. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but this agenda for this show, like the whole thing was planned in the week, but I worked on what the talking points were going to be yesterday. So it was all ready to go. Challenges are opportunities. Consider, as I said, Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure wasn't an endpoint. It was a lesson that brought him closer to success. In our own lives, challenges like job losses, failed relationships, or personal setbacks can feel overwhelming, but they often push us to discover new paths. A layoff might seem like a disaster, but it could be an invitation to a catalyst for launching your own business or finding a more fulfilling career. Every obstacle presents a chance to grow and pivot towards something better, but it's not always going to be comfortable. And I said to you, the growth happens when you get uncomfortable. So practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. 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 What happens when you put a new pair of shoes on, right? They're a little bit uncomfortable, right? So you got to break them in. You got to break yourself in a little bit. And when that gets too comfortable, you got to move on to something else. You got to raise the bar, right? If you suddenly do, let's say you do 3 sets of 12, right? With so much weight. And now you can just do that so easy, right? Well, you could either add more reps, right? So you could do 20, or you could add more sets, right? Consistency beats motivation every single time. You ever tried getting in shape? The biggest difference between someone who sees the results and someone who doesn't is consistency. A person who works out 3 times a week for a year will be in better shape than someone who goes to the gym every day for a month. Now, and of course, decides to quit. You all see those people that are going for the New Year's resolution, but then they give up because it's just not in their mindset. So consistency is key. And failure, as I said, is a stepping stone. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before able to successfully launch Harry Potter, which became a global phenomenon. If she had given up after the first rejection, millions of people would never have experienced her magical world. The same goes to your personal failures, whether it's a failed business, a missed promotion, or a project that didn't pan out. Each setback teaches valuable lessons. Instead of seeing it as a failure, as defeat, view it as a step forward. The most successful people aren't those who never fail, but those who refuse to quit. So when you're failing, well, guess what? That is a very good sign that you're about to succeed soon. The mind shapes our effort, our mindset. A student who believes they're bad at math will likely struggle, not only because they lack the ability, but because their mindset has already programmed the parameters. It's kind of like setting a potentiometer, and you have like a limit switch. And if I turn that limit switch, let's say to 5, and I turn it up, no matter how much I turn, how much force, I can't get past 5. If I change the limiter all the way up to 10, or I remove it, I can turn it all the way up. Same thing happens with our brain. Um, no shortcuts to mastery, guys. Look at any world class musician, athlete, or entrepreneur, you'll see years of practice behind their success. Michael Jordan didn't just pop out of the closet and make his high school basketball team at first, but instead of quitting, he practiced relentlessly and became one of the greatest players as we know in time. In our lives, whether we want to excel at public speaking, coding, or leadership, there's no instant success, only the grind of continuous learning and improvement. Mastery is earned, it's not given, and patience is the secret ingredient. And remember, when you understand that, no one can take it away from you. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Imagine two people. One spends time with ambitious, supportive friends who encourage them, they'll improve, while the other surrounds himself with negative people who are mediocrity. And the first person naturally strives for more, while the second will remain stuck, might even go backwards. So simply seek out friends or mentors who push you to be better, and an environment that will play a crucial role. So, I think a lot of people just don't realize what success means. People think, oh my gosh, I want to be successful today, so I'll do this. Well, success is not a destination. Success is the journey, right? Success is the journey. If you're being a podcast host, you don't just get online and be successful because, well, you just think you're going to be successful day one. It doesn't happen. Even being a content creator, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Facebook, it doesn't just happen overnight. It does not just happen overnight. I didn't just get on public cable TV overnight. That took over 4 years, and I was invited to get on cable TV. Now I'm on other cable stations around New Jersey and New York, but this didn't just happen because I started yesterday. I realized that I need to reach out to these stations. I need to join places where these stations look. And that's what gave me opportunities. They looked at my content. They said, you know what? We want to put your content on the air. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Sometimes I had to conform to certain standards. Now you notice I had to conform to the 28:30 or the 29-minute, because now I'm fitting more into a bracket. And before, I didn't have that. But that's also a great thing that I'm actually being able to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And remember, everyone, growth mindsets is what fuels success. Practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you got people that don't want to help you do that, well, maybe you're around the wrong set of friends. Take care, everyone.